Hello, I'm Steven,
And I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen
Supergirl.
Supergirl, new film that's out in theaters right now, starring Millie Alcock, Matthias Skonatz, Eve Ridley, David Krumholtz, and David Cornsweet, and it is directed by Craig Gillespie. When a psychotic space pirate slaughters the parents of Ruthie Knoll and poisons the dog of Kara Zor-El, his actions create a reluctant alliance between two scorned heroes who set out on a quest to bring him to justice.
So I didn't really have the highest expectations of this one going in. The trailers looked very brown. Well, I hope you like the color palette of the trailer.
Yeah,
Nothing about it really said, watch me. There's nothing that hooked me. I wanted it to succeed because why wouldn't I? So upon watching it, I thought it was kind of bad. I don't think it started out bad though. Didn't start out terrible. It started out very okay, and it's like there's potential for this to turn into something. There's some potentially interesting thematic concepts being introduced here and story points that could grow into something. And then the second half, it just grows into nothing. Doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think, fell off the train right around the time we get on the intergalactic bus.
So you fell off the train when they got on the train.
Yeah, and it never really recovered. I was kind of thinking the same thing. In the beginning, it was just kind of okay, and then once the plot really starts going in quotation marks, but then nothing really happens. It's just kind of a series of sequences and scenarios with no like kind of flowing narrative and no sense of urgency despite what the movie is. So it's like a race against the clock to save her dog.
Yeah, it's very generic, it's very derivative, it's very bland, and it's very underwritten.
Yeah, very. This felt like an Iron Man 2 hatchet job to me. I feel like there's probably way more stuff with the villains that was chopped out of the movie just because they felt like it wasn't necessary to the story. But that's another one of the movie's problems is that these have got to be some of the worst villains we've seen probably since like Malekith or Ronan.
Yeah, those are exactly the two examples I was thinking of, Malekith and Ronan. Seeing the villain in the trailer was one of the biggest indicators that this wasn't going to be good because the character design on this character, do you even remember his name? I do.
Krem of the
Krem.
Yellow Hills.
Krem of the Yellow Hills. Yeah, his character design is so bland, generic.
He looks like Pinhead, but if someone nailed all the nails in.
Pinhead's more creative.
He is, but there's nothing to this character. He's just evil villain guy who cackles and likes doing evil things, which can be doable. The whole time watching him, I was thinking, I'd be able to enjoy this character a lot more if he was played by someone like Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Because he's got this like kind of a similar accent as him. I'm just thinking like, why didn't we get like an interesting character actor to play this?
You know what this movie to me seemed like? It seemed like it was a sad combination of Hancock and Leon the Professional. And that villain in particular, being that he has a similar function in the story as Stansfield from The Professional,
Yeah.
it almost felt like they were trying to go for that. This eccentric guy who's kind of weird and enjoys being evil, who kills this girl's family, and now she's out for revenge. Just like Hancock was half a good movie, and the second half is a big piece of shit, this movie, likewise, like the first half's okay, and then the second half just falls off a cliff.
Yeah, I think probably like 25% of this movie is okay. The 25% is, oh, this is actually really cool. Why aren't we doing more of this? And then the rest of the 50% is just bad.
So the main character is Kara. Her character defining line of dialogue is when she's talking about Clark. She says, "He sees the best in people, I see the truth." That is a potentially interesting
she's the
route
jaded.
to take.
She's the jaded and like harder edged version of Superman, and most of this has to do with where they came from and how they were brought up. And that's my number one problem with this movie is that everything interesting about the Kara character, Supergirl, is reduced to flashbacks.
Underdeveloped ones at that.
I know everybody's kind of over the idea of doing origin stories, but when your character is this unique and distinct from Clark, the Superman character, it's kind of territory that we've not explored before, and is far more interesting than anything else that they do in this movie.
Yeah, I was about to say, here's the difference. We've seen the Superman origin over and over and over
Yes.
again. We don't need to see it. There was a Supergirl movie in the 80s that nobody saw, and it was like
Mhm.
evidently terrible. There's a Supergirl television series that I'm sure only a portion of the populace saw because it's television. So here's a film. This is an opportunity to explore that character in full, and I think an origin would have been warranted. But before we get to that, I wanted to say one of my biggest problems with the character is that she's drunk and she's reckless and she likes to go to the red sun planet because it's the only way she can get inebriated
Yeah.
because on a yellow sun, booze doesn't work on her.
She's just pumped full of energy and power.
I think she should have been more irreverent and more reckless and more just outwardly bad, like Hancock. I feel like she's not that bad in the first half. So when she like does her whole character growth, she's not really growing that much.
Yeah,
She's just getting
well,
slightly better.
that's kind of my second problem with the movie is that they completely botch and bungle the character arc for her. But the other factor of the plot is like this girl that she has to protect and mentor, I guess, and she tags along with her on her quest to save her dog.
Yeah,
Because the only way to save the dog is to get the antidote that the brigands and Krem carry on their person.
yeah, this girl Ruthie, whose family
Yeah,
was killed by Krem of the Yellow Hills, and she's
yeah.
out for blood,
She wants revenge.
and Kara is given the same tired tropey lines we've heard 1,000 of times over and over and over again. Killing him won't dull the pain; it'll only make it worse.
Killing Two-Face won't take the pain away. It'll make it worse.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
they're building this character around kind of this idea, but then in the third act they kind of just like abandon it. And for what? And then in the very end of the movie, Kara's kind of left in a state where we're supposed to feel optimistic and hopeful about the future, and I'm just like, how did we get here? Because the whole time you've been saying one thing, and then we do one thing, and those two things somehow equal this ending that we're left with. It doesn't make any freaking sense.
Yeah, the character journey was baffling to me.
I mean, it's hardly a journey at all. Like you said, it's mostly just a bunch of speeches and platitudes that we've heard in a thousand revenge tales before.
She got slightly better. Yeah, regarding her backstory, there's a lot of potentially interesting concepts that just don't go explored. And here's the thing that I thought was most interesting is that in James Gunn's Superman, Bradley Cooper sent Clark to Earth to be a conqueror and
Hmm.
mass rapist, but despite that, he turned out good.
The poster child of progress!
The compelling irony here is that Kara, by contrast, was sent to Earth to be good, and she ended up being the jaded cynic.
Yes. Yeah. That's all incredibly interesting for setting up who this character is. And this is the other problem is that Gunn wants to treat this universe like it has already existed for a few years, which means we're just thrown into the mix with all these guys and we're just learning about them kind of on the fly. I think that's kind of a mistake. I was kind of going with it in Superman, but now I think that maybe it's just a big mistake because we don't really understand who these characters are, especially this one. Yeah, everything interesting about her character in this movie is when the movie is telling us where she came from and who she is and how she became the person she is. But it's all reduced to like maybe 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, her scenes with Clark are the highlights. That should have been the crux of the movie.
Yeah,
Seeing how their ideologies clash, how they develop their different worldviews.
another thing I'll say is I thought this movie was a pretty miserable watch. So it kind of just highlighted even more how much they've kind of hit on the casting with David Cornsweet because every time he popped up in the movie, I was just like, oh my God, thank you.
He lit up the screen, sometimes literally, because the only scenes of color are the scenes with him in it.
He,
Everything else is brown and like I said in our Alice in Wonderland review, they put it through the fecal filter.
yeah, it's nothing but sludgy, diuretic murk. Awful looking movie.
Now I will say I didn't find this miserable to watch. I wasn't bored. I was just constantly meh.
Oh, I wasn't bored either, but I did find myself mentally checking out just because the visuals were so uninspired
Yes.
and so illegible at times. Like it's just brown and gray and
Yes.
dark.
There came a point in the movie where I started to cringe and feel kind of embarrassed about what I was watching. And
Yes.
I was doing the thing where you you put your hand on your head and you're like trying to cover
Oh my
yourself.
god, I
Like,
can't believe we're doing like
yeah,
I think we're probably gonna have the same opinion. I guess if you want to call it emotional peak of the movie in the third act, hinges on the use of a song,
yes,
a cover of a song.
there is a needle drop that happens during a fight, and
It's embarrassing.
I was, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Why that song?
Well, see because the lyrics apply to what's going on in the story in the narrative.
I didn't even really think it did. Vaguely, maybe, but
That's the thing is that it only vaguely or tangentially does. But if you think about it more than like half a second, it's embarrassing. Like you've got these visuals and then you've got this song playing over it and they do not complement each other whatsoever.
no, it's like stop trying to be James Gunn. Like for
Yeah.
as much as I complained about his overuse of needle drops, at least he knows how to do it. Like the Yondu genocide scene set
Yeah.
to come a little bit closer. That works.
Yeah. That's another big problem I have with the movie is nearly all the needle drops are bad or they're terrible.
I honestly can't remember any of them now except for that one.
The big action scene on the bus is set to Wolf Alice's Smile,
Oh no, you're a
which
big Wolf House fan.
which is a song I love. And I'm the exact person that's teed up to like this kind of thing. And then when it came on, I was like, "Oh, we're doing Wolf Alice, okay." And then me knowing the song the way that I do, the way it's edited and the way it's chopped up and like torn apart and Frankenstein back together in order to fit the scene, I was just like, "Why are we doing this to you're totally destroying the song and you're making it worse and it doesn't fit the scene. The editing is horrendous." So you've completely botched the use of this song. The only one I think that worked for me was kind of the opening of the movie because it's like establishing she's like a drunken punk rock doesn't give a care in the world kind of character. But then the rest of them for the whole movie are like either poorly used, badly edited, or they just don't fit the scene, or it just feels like low rent Guardians of the Galaxy.
Much in the same way that the first Suicide Squad felt like that.
Yeah.
Because that movie also was dropping needles left and right and didn't know how to do it because it was edited by a trailer house.
Yeah. We're talking about the Will Smith one.
No, the first. What did I say? Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, you said Suicide
No,
Squad.
the first Suicide Squad. Remember that? There
Yeah.
was needle drops all over that
The
thing.
Will Smith one.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played Death Slap. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, Idris Elba was in the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Moving on. Was Ruthie a bad actress, or was this just a very bad role that you can't do anything with because she was so vacant and she's driven by vengeance? That's the core of the movie. Her potentially learning to be better and not go down this path. I felt nothing. None of the
Well,
emotional beats in this movie worked,
no.
except for when Corin Sweat was on screen.
They don't. It doesn't help either that half of her dialogue is her speechifying her trauma to everybody. I am Ruthie, and I am looking for so and so to get revenge for killing my honorable and good parents.
Oh my! You saying that just made me think. Were they trying to do? Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You kill my father. Prepare to die.
It's possible. It's possible.
If that was their attempt to do that, that's pathetic. To me, it felt more like I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me, over and over again from Rogue One.
Something that neither of us can really talk to, but something that I'm very interested in is this is directly based on a comic story, a very popular and beloved story.
Oh dear.
Called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which was the original title of this movie. And from what I know, it's basically the exact same plot, but obviously where it goes is different. Everything I've heard about that story and everything that they do with the characters sounds 100 times better than what they do in here. I'm very tempted to just buy that book and read it.
Yeah,
because I'd love to see how they've mangled this.
I did not know that. That's strange to me. Like, how do you take such a venerated piece of work and turn it into this?
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle. This is an actor turned writer, and this is their first writing credit. So,
Oh,
is this another instance of James Gunn just hiring his friends to do things?
wow.
What's the deal here? Why are we? And I think she's also attached to write Wonder Woman.
I heard about that. That is so concerning because, as you know, I love that Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman. I even like Wonder Woman 1984. Everyone hates it. I like it. But I don't want her writing that.
No.
I like Wonder Woman.
Well, I mean, look at the bright side. That'll be her second writing credit. So at least there's experience this time.
Oh, man. The gods of cinema protect Wonder Woman. We saved her from Emerald Fennell. Let's not
Oh,
do this.
Jesus. Um,
I'm sorry, take two. We saved Zatanna from Emerald Fennell.
the two movies that kept coming to mind were Mad Max for obvious reasons
Yes.
and Tank Girl.
Oh,
And I was thinking like, because it has that kind of irreverent like punk rock attitude with this wacky character who just doesn't care about anything.
which you and I love Tank Girl.
Yeah,
The movie's good.
but this doesn't have any of the humor or the color of that movie. And it doesn't have any of the competent spectacle of the Mad Max movies.
Yeah, I thought about Fury Road 2 specifically because the creme or whatever, the creme of the Yellow Hills and his merry band of marauders.
The brigands.
Yeah, stupid. They're basically sex traffickers. They have a luggage cart full of brides. A storage crate.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they're like tanks that you drive around with
Yeah.
women in them.
I was thinking of that. So this is Bad Max.
Yeah, it's just like a worse version of a lot of other movies you've seen.
Oh, how can we forget? Well, I guess it's obvious how we could forget because the movie forgot him. Momoa as Lobo.
Oh, yeah.
He's trying to inject some levity into this, but he feels so shoehorned in. Like somebody was just desperate to fulfill that fan casting decision. So
Yeah.
they just
Well,
crammed him in.
Jason Momoa he's been lobbying for this role ever since it was stated that James Gunn would be restarting the DC universe.
Oh wow.
So he's basically campaigned for the role and he got it. And now that he's got it, I'm just like, this is somehow both completely proper and uninspired casting. But it also just doesn't help once again that his material is so bad. Because a lot of his material is some of the more humorous stuff in the movie, but when none of the humor is really hitting, his character's left kind of as a flat line.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't do anything.
No, you could remove him from the story, and it would be entirely better for it and shorter, even though this movie is already an hour 48.
Yeah, you could probably even limit his role to just a cameo. That's just like a wink, wink, hint, hint. There'll be more
You
of
meet
him in
him
the
at
future.
the intergalactic space dive. Oh, and by the way, why is a space bar in the middle of nowhere in the galaxy? Why is there like a lounge singer
Who's singing
singing
Girl from
from
Ipanema?
Ipanema? Why is that a thing?
I was wondering the same. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy where they have the universal translators, and it's also not like Guardians where somebody has brought like their iPad or their Zoom or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it started, and I was catching the melodies and stuff, and I was thinking like, is this what I think it is? No, that wouldn't make any sense. And then she said the words, and I was baffled once again at the use of the music.
And then she starts singing Cheek to Cheek. Heaven, I'm in heaven.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. I know it from Greenwell, but it's from Top Hat.
I said the editing and the music was really bad, but also just the editing in general is kind of atrocious. And once again speaks to this being a hatchet job. Do you remember in the end of Spider-Man 2002 where the Green Goblin just has a trident in his hand?
Yes.
Were you
course.
ever reminded of that scene while watching this? Because I was multiple times.
Actually, no, that didn't occur to me.
One specific scene that stands out, she grabs like a chain or something, and then the very next shot is her spinning it around. It's like there's no lead up to it. It's just so choppy. Like some of the action is shot this way too, where there's no sense of continuity or flow. One character is in one specific position, and then the very next shot, something totally different is happening. I just kept thinking of that scene in Spider-Man where the Green Goblin just suddenly has a trident in his hand.
He just pulls it out of thin air like a video game
Yeah.
character. Yeah, no, I didn't notice that, but well, I won't be rewatching this. But if I were to, then I'd have to look out for that.
The editing is so fast and frantic and hard to keep up with sometimes. And we've mentioned it many times when we talk about the editing, but the Taken fence jumping scene,
Yeah.
like it calls to mind that.
There's one thing that really bothered me. This is like a slight minor spoiler, I guess you could say. There's a scene where Kara, she gets on a spaceship and she goes to this planet. She gets off the spaceship and she finds out that it's a planet under a green sun. And she can't function under a green sun, so she's incapacitated. So I'm wondering, okay, what clever way is she going to employ to get out of this perilous situation? And literally all she does is wait until the green sun goes down and the yellow sun
Just
comes
wait.
out. She doesn't do dick.
Well, it's funny because this is another one of those things that is actually set up in that book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I won't really say what the deal is there. But when I heard about that, I was like, oh, you know what? That actually kind of makes sense. But it doesn't here because these characters haven't been around for long. So how is Krem aware of her weaknesses like kryptonite? It's not really a spoiler, but I'll just say that he has like kryptonite darts. Why would he have these? When would he have gotten them? And why would he know to use them now? So again, just feels like maybe stuff was cut. Maybe the script changed multiple times. I don't know, but
Maybe it's an hour 48 minutes, which sounds good on paper. I wish more movies were that length, but then after you see it, you wonder, is this an hour 48 marked down from 220 or something?
yeah, it feels like this should have been like 2 hours, 15 minutes, or even 2.5 hours if it needed it, which I think it does. There's not too much to say about the acting because most everybody is given horrible material or not given the chance to really shine. I thought Millie Alcock, for what she was given to do, did the best that she could. There are times when she's actually really good, um, and most of those scenes are on Krypton where she actually gets to emote, which is funny because all of the scenes on Krypton are in a different language.
Yeah.
David Krumholtz, I enjoyed him as Kara's father.
Yeah, Zor-El. I didn't even recognize him.
So I can't place any of the blame on her because she's also having to play drunk for half the movie. And then when she's not drunk, they have to find excuses for her to play drunk, like being poisoned. Which again also breaks some of the logic of the movie because I'm pretty sure she's given like some of the brigands poison, but her solution is to just fly up into the yellow sun to get better. So I'm just thinking like, well, why didn't we just do that with Crypto? That didn't make any sense to me. She just drinks some milk and pukes it up. and I think the actress is fine. I think the script is just not serving anybody here.
No, absolutely not.
It's a colorless, mostly joyless disaster of a movie, I think. If you're trying to kick off the DC universe, and this is your second film, this is a very, very, very bad way to continue from the momentum of the first movie.
This is a misstep.
I only liked the first one, and you liked it less than I did.
Yeah.
We cannot gunify every movie that we do in this franchise, and people need to stop trying.
No, yes, please.
Have you seen like other of Craig Gillespie's like credits as a director?
No, what did he have?
Like acclaimed work, far better than this. Like I, Tanya is one of them.
Oh wow.
Lars and the Real Girl, Fright Night, Cruella, which you and I both liked.
Oh yeah.
So he's made good movies. Dumb Money just a few years ago.
Oh, the GameStop one.
Yeah. So I have no idea what happened here. I think it was a script that got butchered and hacked. I know there was production troubles because they went through like 3 composers for the score, which is the oddest thing in the world. The most recent composer switch was, I think, March, just a few months ago.
Wow.
Like, how do you switch composers just a few months before your movie opens?
And the sad thing is, I don't remember any of the music except for the needle drops.
And maybe, honestly, maybe that's where some of those needle drops came from. They maybe they had a limp score
to fill in the gaps.
that didn't work for these action sequences, and then yeah, they just used them as fillers, and there's like no thought put into them. Yeah, this is a mess, and if you want to create a universe, we need to be doing better than this.
So, what is your final number rating on a scale of 1 to 10?
I really wanted this one to be good. It's just because I did like Superman for all its flaws, and I like the more kind of cosmic science fiction fantasy take on the universe. And like we said, I like the idea of a more jaded, cynical version of Superman that's formed out of like a completely different background and upbringing. But they don't do anything with it. They waste all of that material in this movie, and apparently they completely butcher a very well known and liked story in comic books in the process. It's very brown. It's so freaking brown. It's an ugly movie. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to listen to. It's got F tier villains. So I give it like a 4 or a 3 even. Thought that was pretty bad.
When I got out of the theater, I was feeling like maybe a 6, but upon talking about it, it makes me feel like I need to lower it down to a 5. I think that's what I will do, because I had a ton of problems with James Gunn's Superman. Like, James Gunn and I we have very different views on art. Despite the fact that he has made some emotionally resonant films, he just can't help but inundate his movies with stupid. But it wasn't bad, I didn't think. It just had a lot of problems and a lot of creative decisions that I disagreed with. This was bad. And for this to be a James Gunn approved script, again, like,
It's the weirdest thing.
Shakes my faith.
He said that he wouldn't approve any movie to go into a production unless he thought the script was good. And it's like, honestly, I don't know what the original script was. And maybe it is one of those things where what's on the page is good, but the execution is just horrendous. And there's no amount of post production or reshoots or editing that is going to fix it because you've already shot the movie. Can't keep doing this. This is like so not what this franchise needs.
No. Both Marvel and DC are just in a creative slump, it would seem.
And when you've got the Batman Part 2 starting to shoot now, I must be honest, it's probably gonna be a pretty solid movie. Better than these previous 2 movies. Like, come on, guys. Is this your best foot being put forward? Like I said, the feeling I left with was embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it was it's even worse because once again it's a female-led superhero, so there's a whole bunch of morons and chuds on the internet doing the whole woke song and dance and complaining about Millie Alcock's face, even though she's not an ugly woman.
These dipshits.
And it's just like, when you make a bad movie, that just makes them more emboldened because you can't shut them up with anything.
Why can't they make a proper female-led superhero movie? Like, they did it with Wonder Woman. That was critically and audience acclaimed. The second one, not so much, even though I liked it. And then everything else has been shit. Like Elektra, garbage. Supergirl, garbage. The Catwoman, holy shit, garbage.
Even the first Captain Marvel wasn't this bad.
And I don't like Captain Marvel, that movie. Either one.
The Marvels was better than this. I liked the Marvels, but they're both better than this.
The Marvels at least had a little Ms. Marvel elevating that movie.
Yeah, Iman Vellani. This is crap. So please stop this.
Yeah, bad movie. Bad. Try harder. So that's Supergirl. Skip it.